All right, I'm going to show you what I did yesterday with my makeup, and I actually really loved it, and I think there is value, so I'm going to show you what I did. Okay, so remember what I said yesterday, that I lay in bed at night sometimes thinking of ways that we can better use our products, better use some of the colors. We've got all these beautiful colors in here. We've got all these beautiful colors. Are there even more ways that we can utilize them to love our makeup even more? And I'm always thinking about color and what color could do to our skin. So here's how this came upon me. I have been self-tanning a little bit, and just so you know, if you have age spots and sunspots, when you self-tan, it is going to make them show a little bit more. It just increases the pigment in your face. So if you've got some little dark spots, it's going to make them show up a little bit more. I actually don't care. I'll be honest. I do have sunspots on my cheek, and that's where this idea came from. But I don't obsess over them because the overall finish of my makeup is so good. I could care less about pinpointing little spots to cover. Not interested. Got better things to do. All right. But here's the thing. If we have a lot of freckles or sunspots or age spots, what is the color of them? They actually have green in them. Okay. They're really not brown. They actually have green. Now, because of that, when you think about canceling that color, you need to think about the color wheel again, and the opposite of green is red. In other words, I'm not going to put red on my face, but I am going to put pink. And I started to think about some of the colors we've got. We've got lots of pink blushes, but you know, some of our pink blushes are really pink. They're glossy. Some have a little sparkle. That's not what I wanted. I wanted something that would be very sheer and beautiful, almost like a highlight color, but with a little pink in it. And I remembered this color we have, which is called Ballerina. I don't use it very often. It's very light. It's a little bit pink. Let me show you what it looks like on my finger. It's a subtle, subtle pink, okay? Not overly pink. And that's why I started to think, I wonder if this would kind of work to cancel out some areas on my face that have a little extra pigment, a few extra sunspots or freckles or whatever. Now, just so you know, I love freckles. If I had cute freckles peppered across my nose, I probably would not try to cover them, but I just wonder what this would do. What would my makeup look like if I put this on as like a little bit of a base? So that's what I did. And I did it pretty sparingly. So I've got nothing on my skin. I did a little moisturizer this morning and my vitamin C serum, but as always, just eyebrows, lashes, and a little bit of tight lining. So let me show you. I took a fluffy brush. This is one of my OG brushes, Saint brush, but it's the blush and bronzer. Okay, I'm taking the smallish end because I actually want to be able to cover kind of a big area with this, and I want to keep it light. Okay, so I'm not going to go in with a really stiff, dense brush. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this color to blur. Now, I don't know if you can already tell how pretty that made my skin, how pretty that made, and I'm kind of just keeping it. Now, you may have, a lot of us have a lot of our age spots right in here. So if that's where you have it, kind of keep it in this little area, but you can certainly go all the way down here. Now, I'm not telling you these are going to cover up every age spot. Nothing is. No one color is going to cover up age spots and sunspots. You guys hear me say that all the time. But what it can do, I don't know if you noticed the difference. It kind of blurred it. Didn't it? Doesn't it look like I've just got a little veil on? That is because there is a little pink in this, but not too much. Now I'm going to do this side. Now the beautiful part about this product, this Ballerina, is it's balmy. It's not glossy. So it's not going to put a ton of like shine. This is probably so subtle you don't notice it. Please, please, in the comments, let me know if you can tell. But do you see now how I kind of have a beautiful little, I don't know, it's just like a tinge wash of a little bit of a pink balm. And I'm just barely picking any up. So you probably think, oh my gosh, you're putting so much on your face. I'm not. I'm not. And it's not really giving me a ton of, you know, extra color because I'm not worried about that. I'm still going to go in with a little bit of highlight. But I think that is so pretty. Now I'm going to show you the finish and you can kind of keep going. I feel like you'd have to put a ton of this on. I'm just sort of stamping it on to really feel like it's overdone. I don't care. You can put on your nose for all I care. Go right across that nose if you want. Doesn't bother me a bit. Every color, most every color in our compacts give some sort of coverage. Do you know what I mean? This also neutralizes any areas on your face where you are a little extra yellow. You know what I mean? Because of the color, okay? It just kind of works that way. All right, so I think this actually looks very glowy and pretty. And all I have is Ballerina on my face. A little bit of Ballerina, okay? Now, I'm not going to say that if you are somebody who doesn't have a skin tone close to mine, that it may make a difference. So if you're really dark, really, really dark, like if you wear like the dark, dark colors, Icon, Mirage, I wouldn't recommend this. But if you're in the lighter range, I don't know, you might want to try it. Okay, so after I did this, and I thought this looked, do you just see how I don't use the word flawless because I hate it, but do you see how just veiled and smooth that looks? It looks like I just put foundation on, right? So here's what I'm going to do though. I am now going to go in with a little bit of my foundation. I'm going to go into a little bit of my two colors I kind of mixed together right now, and I'm just going to put it kind of down here on my jawline. I'm kind of going to stay away from my cheek because I don't know that I really need it there. I'm going to kind of take it down here. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit on my chin. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit on my nose, just sort of stamping. This is a very light, because I put two different colors on my face, you know, kind of layering in a way. I'm very careful not to put too much. You can do two colors when you are very careful. How glowy is and pretty is that? Okay, now whatever's left on my brush, I'm going to put there. Okay, now forehead. Let's hit that. So I'm just going to bring it up a little bit here. I didn't really put any of that Ballerina up on my forehead. I could have, so I don't really need to, you know, worry too much about wiping it away. Just making sure. Guys, I don't know. I did not think I would like this much. I really, really hope a few of you try it because I think it's actually really beautiful. Now, here's also what I did yesterday. I did not do my color correcting first. I did it after. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to take my small end of my blend brush. I'm going to go into, again, kind of the same colors I put on my face, not a different color, okay? And I'm going to put that under my eye. Now, I will say, even just your regular foundation color under your eye, as long as it's not too light, will give some coverage. Do you see that? It does soften darkness, okay? It's not going to completely get rid of it, but it is going to do a little bit. Our foundation colors, our highlight colors, were never created to be a color corrector, but they do give a beautiful softening veil to our under eye. That looks pretty good, right? Now, is my under eye perfect? No, but I'm going to show you when I'm done. If you want to add a little more coverage, I mean, you can still see I've got a little bit of darkness right there, right? Just a little bit. Now, under eyes, I will always, especially if I'm just putting a little bit of highlight there, I will always go in with my little Real Techniques sponge that I got from Target. You can get a little bag of these for like $7, and I'm just going to make sure I don't have too much. I'm also just going to make sure that I put enough coverage here because I use that really fluffy brush. And remember, a really fluffy brush is not going to apply very much coverage, so you may have to just hit it again, okay? So let's finish the rest of my face though, and I'm going to show you how I go back and touch up that under eye if I want to. Now, there's nothing here on my cheeks but that Ballerina, that really muted, soft baby pink, okay? But I still want to add a little blush because although it's still kind of showing, because remember I did my highlight around that. You can go over it if you want to, but I don't feel like I need to. I'd rather put blush there. If I'm going to put two colors, I'd rather do this and a little blush on top. So I'm going to stick with pink because pink is still going to be a good color corrector for any residual age spots or sunspots that are showing. So I'm going to go into Candy. Candy's a soft pink. It's a light pink. And I'm just going to put a little bit there. I'm not even going to contour today because I just want to show you the power of pink. Maybe I'll put a little contour on my forehead, but I'm not going to do too much with my cheek. Okay, pretty, right? Just a little bit of pink right there. And then if I want to do just a tiny bit of like a bronzer, I'll pick up a little of my ash and my tan lines together. Sorry, I keep shaking this table. And I'll just put a little bit up here. So just a small amount. Like I said, I am self-tanning, so I feel like I don't need as much dark on my face. Okay, I am going to hit that neck real quick. I love just spinning my brush around and being able to hit what I want. Okay, I'm going to tap a little bronzer right there. Okay, that's it for my face. Now, what do you think? We'll look at the under eyes again in a minute, but I'm going to get really close so you can see. Do you see how pretty that looks? And, you know, I have the age spots. You can still kind of see them poking through a little bit because I'm getting right up close. But overall, first of all, no one's going to be that close to you in real life. But overall, doesn't it just look really soft? And like, I just can't I keep going back to the word veiled. It's like that ballerina just put a veil, a little veil on top of that area. And I just put it like in this section right here, okay? Now, if you have sunspots on your forehead, do that. If you have them along your jawline, put it there. I just don't. I really only put it where I had the trouble. Now, let's go back to the under eye. If now you would like to add a little brightness, remember, I just have my highlight under my eyes, and that's all. You can go on top and color correct. You can. You don't have to color correct first. You can, but I'm going to show you how you can also put it on top. So for today's color correction, I'm using the Pixie Under Eye Brightener. You guys know I love this. It's one of the like 3 peachy under eye correctors I really love. I could also have gone in with my Demi, but I'm going to show you this one because I kind of show you these in a rotation because I always want you to pick the one that you like the best. So with my small brush, my bright brush, which you can get on the site, this is my favorite under eye brush, guys. If you don't have the bright brush, it is just so good for under eye. Okay, so now I'm going to do my mirror so I can really see. So I can see I need to take care of that right there. Okay, I'm looking where it's dark and only where it's dark. I'm going to take one eye at a time. And I'm just sort of tapping this. Look at that. Do you see how that brightens it up? And I'm going to kind of follow the line. If I've got a line of darkness, this is why I like this product. It's very creamy. So it plays well with the cream makeup. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference between that and that? That's just a tiny bit of this orange. So you can put it on top. You can do just your foundation under your eyes. Use the color. Use the darkest color you use for your face though. So don't go in with too light of a color and expect to get much out of it. You know what I mean? Okay, now let's do this eye. But you can tell the difference, right? This is fine. That's kind of better. So now I'm just going to go in here. I got to use my little mirror kind of up close so I can because I'm really always very careful to not overdo this part. Get that corner. If you have darkness in that outer corner, most of us do. Okay. And then this is also, you can also use what's left on your brush. If you've got a little blemish right there in the center of your forehead. Okay. And then you can use at this point your fingers and just take away any excess. Just like that. I mean, it's still really super natural looking. Not supernatural, but super natural looking. And then if you wanted to set with powder, maybe I'll show you how I do my under eye, because I do sometimes set with powder, but I am very specific on how I do it. I'm just making sure that little line. So that's a shadow that's caused by a little extra skin, but you can still color correct it. So if you have extra skin under your eyes, that kind of hangs a little bit. I'm starting to get that at my age. That is where you may have a little line of shadow, and just go in and add a little bit more just in that place. Okay. So I'm going to stop here with my under eye. When I'm all done, I'll show you how I set my under eye with powder when I feel like I need to. But I'm going to show you a really, really quick eyeshadow. Okay. I did this yesterday and I really, really like the way it looked. So you guys know I wear lip and cheeks on my eyes often. Okay. So I'm going to go back into the color, the color that I used on my cheeks, which was Candy. Okay. I'm going to pick it up with the smudge brush. Smudge brush is a great brush for applying cream, any cream to your lids. So isn't that pretty? It just makes like a beautiful pink, soft eyeshadow, cream eyeshadow. Okay. Now, if you're somebody who has really oily lids, what I might recommend you doing is do a little primer first. I don't really have super oily lids, but I know that some do. So I would probably put a little matte eyelid primer on even before this cream. Because it can, really oily eyelids can still cause cream to sort of gather and ball up a little bit, you know what I mean? But if you put the primer on, you'll have no trouble. So I'm bringing this really pretty pink all the way up because it's just so soft. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Now, here's the fun thing. Anything now I put on top of this is going to stick and really be pretty. So I was thinking, what could I do to make this just a little more special? I'm going to add a little bit of a powder, shimmery eyeshadow. This is called Bend and Snap. So here we go. I'm going to take a finger. I'm going to take my finger for this because I think this is better. I'm going to take my finger into a little bend and snap, and then we get really close so you can see. I mean, that's skin. Okay, just tap it on. Just tap it on. You can just keep it right out here if you want to. You can leave your inner eye alone. Just keep it here. But look how easy that is. Remember, it's going to stick. It's going to stick to that lip and cheek. Just so simple. I love it. I found a really pretty, I almost bought it. It was $30 though, and I kind of talked myself out of it, but it was a cream stick eyeshadow. And I thought it was such a pretty color. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what? I know I have that color. It was this color, Bend and Snap. I knew it was very, very similar to this. And I kept thinking, I just want it to look like a cream. I want this to look like a cream shadow. And I started to think, you know what? I can make that. I can make that by just putting this on like with my finger on a cream. Now, if you want to take a fluffy brush and just kind of work that in a little bit and kind of soften that, you absolutely can. But look how simple that is and how pretty. If you want to take a little bit under your, you could take a little bit, let me just show you. Let me take, I'll use this, even though I did my under eye, I'm going to use this as a makeshift under eye color now. So I'm going to just take the little bit of the Bend and Snap and just pull it under here a little. I'll use whatever brush is laying around and clean them later. So just like that. Okay. Super, super easy, easy eye. Now let me show you, if you want to set your eye with powder, how I do it.